for you to be able to get this information as well. Miro, for people who just don't know you, just why don't you start just by introducing yourself, what got you into this, and basically your journey here.
Okay, so excuse me. So here's what my name is Miro Posvic. I'm the owner of Best Made Natural Products, right? I've been doing this, see, for a while. And what happened was I've my older son had a lot of all these different health issues, right? We do the same thing everybody does. You go doctor to doctor, doctor, test, test, test. Here's a bucket of pills that can make it worse. And I got really frustrated with it. So I started going through all the different alternative stuff. I started doing acupuncture, all this kind of stuff. And I settled into homeopathy because that was kind of giving us the best results. And my background is I'm a computer guy, so I'm a math guy. Like I'm not a crystal wearing weirdo, right? Like I'm really very much a hands-on numbers guy. And I'm like, you know what? These doctors are idiots. I'm going to figure this out. And I started studying homeopathy, got more and more into it. And what happened was, as I started studying it, I found some of the other companies that were providing homeopathy here, they weren't providing quality product, right? Because the question is, okay, if a homeopathic remedy is not working, is it there's a blockage in the system, right? Is the person drinking alcohol, taking too many drugs? Do you have the wrong remedy or does your remedy suck, right? So I kind of worked out and I said, you know what, this is, so I tried sourcing different remedies and I found a manufacturer out of Pakistan that produces them. And we've been with them now for over 20 years. And it's kind of cool because over there, they do, it's all non-GMO, it's all really clean. And you can't find non-GMO. You can have non-GMO stuff in North America. If they're growing GMO a mile down the road, you have GMO. There's no way around that. So it kind of started off as an expensive hobby for me and just gradually grew and grew and grew, right? So the funny thing is when I was doing homeopathy school, they were telling us cell salts are placebo. So they're teaching us in homeopathy school saying, you know what? This is a placebo medicine. Are you there, Carrie? I can't hear you at all. Or you have me?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm absolutely here.
Okay, all right. I was like, am I alone in the wilderness?
No, no, you're good.
so so what happened was they're teaching us that it's a placebo. Then my suppliers that are based in Pakistan, they're the largest supplier in the Southeast, they're looking at me like, why aren't you ordering cell salts? I'm like, well, everybody says here that they're nothing. He goes, no, he goes, we sell like 75, 80% of our products we sell are cell salts. They're huge, right? So gradually I started doing it. And as I was growing more and more of it, they started selling more and more because they work really, really well. Um, I'm not sure how much you know about homeopathy. I'm going to try to not make this a lecture. So if I'm going too fast or rambling, please let me know.
Will do.
Because I do tend to, I can go on.
No, we love
So,
it. Go for it. Go for it.
okay. So what happens is homeopathic remedies are highly diluted, right? They'll take pellets and they'll spray the substance onto the pellets, and that's how they do it. Cell salts made properly are triturated, which means they take whatever the mineral salt is and they grind it up in the mix and then they make the pellets from the mix. It is my thesis that a lot of the cell salts on the market are not made that way.
Ah,
I believe that
sure.
they're sprayed. That's, I guess I'm not going to talk smack about anybody else, but that's the difference I found with my cell salts versus other people's cell salts in terms of being effective and stuff. Um, it's really cool. Are you familiar with how cell salts started at all or no?
I am, but I would love for you to introduce that to the community for those who don't know.
Okay, so 200 years ago, there's a guy named Schlosser, and we have his tiny little face on our economy kit. See, look at that.
Yep, there he is.
I'm not sure if that's a current photo. The guy's been dead for 200 years, and he was a doctor and he was a homeopath. And then, about the same time, Virchow came up with cell theory, right? Which basically means that living things are made up of cells. They finally got microscopes and stuff powerful enough where you could actually see the structure, right?
Right.
And for the Schlosser guy, this was an aha moment, right? Because he goes, homeopathy works on the energetic pattern of what we're looking at, right? He goes, I want to go that in between potency where I'm able to affect the individual cells on an individual level, right? So he took the 12 main cell salts that he found were key, and then he's developed a system where they're being prescribed both on a physical level and on an energetic level, right? So here's what's cool. A homeopathic version of the same remedy works differently than the physical remedy. Like I was looking at your stuff, Carrie, and you do a lot of different minerals and stuff. And the best part about cell salts is you're not taking a you're not taking a supplement, right? You're
Right.
not fixing a leaking bucket. You're fixing the leaks in the bucket. So, for
Ah,
example,
good.
we have so the cell salts are taken individually. There's also 28 combinations of the cell salts, right?
Right.
One of my favorite sayings is tradition is just experiments that have been proven over a long period of time, right? Does it make sense?
Sure. Sure.
So this has been in use for 200 years. They're bringing out new homeopathic remedies every week. I'm like, unless the remedy's been out there for 150, 200 years, it's not proven yet, right? I'm I'm
Yeah.
a I'm a remedy snob with that kind of stuff, right?
I know it makes perfect sense to me, and I also love the simplicity. I think of the cell salts in terms, like you said, it's not always a new mineral coming out. It's like no, these are the minerals that have been discovered to be basically the makeup of the cells, from my understanding.
But right, one of the things that people forget too is they're always thinking minerals for bones, right? If you take a cup of water and if it's distilled, that distilled water is an insulator, right?
Right.
If you have minerals in the water, guess what? It becomes a conductor. The
Yep.
minerals aren't just for physical structure or physical structure of the cells. The minerals are for transmitting communication within the cells and your nervous system and everything else. And that's what everybody kind of everybody forgets. People forget that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. No, no. Yeah, I found the name of the game for me, obviously, I want people to return to nature. I want them to understand sunlight. I want to understand their intimate connection with the earth. And I want them to understand that the vast majority of what their body is made up of is water. But after that, for me, it's like minerals are the name of the game. We have to have adequate charge and those minerals that can deliver that conductivity in order for the body to operate at its best. So, and what I've loved about cell salts is the ease of use. I love how gentle yet effective they are. Right? It can be very easy for it to give someone, especially someone in a very declined state of health. It's very easy to give them a mineral or a supplement in a whole form that can really throw them off, right? And they can start to feel worse because they're introducing something into their body that, oftentimes their body's just like, whoa, anything new, just I'm going to push back on it. Cell salts don't act like that with the vast majority of people. They act in a way where people are like, oh, it's not giving me this Herx reaction, or it's not giving me it's not making my nervous system freak out. So that's where I think where cell salts really bridge this beautiful gap between, like you said, providing a physical substance with an energetic component and being delivered in a way that the body just knows it's supported.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you two really cool things. Okay, this. I love how you bring this up. Okay, number one, cell salts you can give to brand new babies, and what's really cool, some people are like, oh, like you put like a newborn, you give them cell salt, or what you do is you give the remedy to the mom, and the mom passes it through breastfeeding, which is also an awesome way of doing it. All right, there was a guy named Dr. David Little. He did this about 20 years ago, and there was an article about it. So he went to Nepal in all these small villages where there was malnutrition. Okay, he treated malnutrition with no change of diet.
Mm.
Right, so people are eating the same stuff, absorbing the nutrients better, and actually recovering from malnutrition without changing the diet. Like you stop and you think about that for a second. Hold on a second. They're eating the same, they're eating the same bucket of yogurt and whatever else they could find they're having for the last year, and now they're recovering. That's really amazing.
Because he was giving him cell salts to help him absorb those nutrients
Right.
better. Right. Yeah. I mean, whenever you're ready, like let's dive into like these cell salts themselves. Like, what are they? Why were these particular ones chosen? I mean, let's give that backstory, and then when you're ready to dive into them, I'm certain everyone's going to want to hear about each of them.
I can tell a lot of great stories about some of the cell salts. They're
Yeah.
so I don't want to sound like a complainer. Nobody's trained on how to use these properly. Um, it's so hard.
Teach us.
I'm gonna try. I got cheat sheets for everybody.
Great. Thank you.
Carrie and your team have copies of them. You can look them up one at a time. There's some really cool stuff. So, like, let's talk about some hidden stuff. I saw you talk about minerals. Mag Phos is great for any kind of pain or soreness, right? And again, we're talking not as a replacement for, but in order to help you absorb Mag Phos. Like if you got a
Hmm.
headache, Mag Phos is the go-to, right?
Right.
Nat Phos manages your acids. If you have chronic acid, taking these things, like it's a night and day difference. Here's one that came up for me about 10 years ago. Was using Nat Sulf for TBI, traumatic brain injury, or concussions in the past.
Oh.
And I used to practice. I can't practice anymore. I'm too busy with the business. But I developed a bit of a hidden following of people that had concussions in their past. And I'm not sure how much you know about brain injuries, but what'll happen is there's certain symptoms you'll see where they'll write a word and they don't write the last part of the word, and they also do that in speech.
Hmm.
And I found that you compare the intake form of someone with TBI after 6 months of taking that self, like all the time, when they do the follow-up forms, they're changing how they put on the words on their own,
Oh,
which is
wow.
which is so cool, right? Because
It-
if you kind of know what to look for, you're like, this is really neat.
oh, that's very cool. The fact that you could affect changes I mean, concussions from the past, that's phenomenal. Okay. All right. So, if I were if I were to have someone who had never heard of cell salts and they're listening to this presentation, they're like, okay, this is fascinating. I'm hearing that they're supportive of minerals in the body. I hear that they might help me absorb nutrients, but where should I start? Like, what am I supposed to look for? Where should I start? There's different options. So, what would you say to that?
Okay, so let's talk practical matters, right? First thing I recommend to everybody is biocombination 28. This combination of all 28 of all 12 cell salts in one formula. You have it there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
This is such a popular product. We brought it out in big mama jugs. You like this? Look at this.
Oh,
Ta-da!
wow.
So this is basically a pound, right?
Wow.
This is in a heavy glass jar. It'll help you get healthy, and if you need to, you can use it for self-defense. Um, so what happens about Combination 28, I give this to everybody. When I was practicing, I'd have people come in. I had one lady, she was like 93, reasonably good health, just old, right? And the Biocombination 28 does not interfere with any medications. It's easy to take. And it gave her a nice little boost in vitality because it supports everything. If someone's not gaining weight, Biocombination 28. You have kids growing, Bio 28. So basically, that's one of the go-to for everybody, right? So you want to start, you start there. Furthermore, you try different bio combinations based on what your needs are. Another fun thing that I recommend to people is get yourself a kit. I mean, this kit I think sells for like 80, $90, has the 12 cell salts in small jars. They come with a little instruction kit, right? It kind of gives you what what it looks like. This is kind of funny. I happened to grab the animal one, right? It's for animals too. And I saw the first thing said cracked paws or skin. I'm thinking, please, I hope this is not the people one. It's the same stuff, right?
Right,
But
right.
but that's it. So I'd say first step, get some bio combination 28. Second step, get yourself to 12. And just what'll happen is you experiment with it. You cannot hurt yourself with it. You're not going to sit there and take 5 pills and like have a heart attack, right? Take it out and see what works. And it's so funny. We have a production team here of about 12 people that pack the remedies. And it's so interesting because they'll be like, um, they'll be sitting there like, oh, just trying them off. And after a while, I don't preach to anybody anymore. I just tell people to try it. Like I used to have this big conversation. You should do this and this. I just say, you know what, try it. You know, as a company, our policy is try something. If it doesn't work for you, we'll give you a refund. Like I can't spend my whole life talking to people like, for me, it's again, I'm a math guy, I'm a computer guy, right? Like if you try this and it doesn't work, you get a refund, you haven't lost anything, right? If you try it and it helps you, that's a net gain. Like it's this very simple math problem. Um, we had a funny lady, she was a medical doctor and she had trigeminal neuralgia. We gave her one of the which one is it? Bio 23. It's for toothache and nerve pain and jaw. I gave her that as a remedy. And she called me up. She goes, I'm really, really mad. I said, why are you mad? She goes, well, your product's helping me. I'm like, why is that upsetting? All right. And she was livid. She goes, I'm a medical doctor. I have a degree in this, and I went to here, and I did this. And she goes, nothing else I've done has ever worked, and your stuff is working, and now I'm mad at you. Okay, so do you want to complain or do you want to buy more? She goes, send me a box. Okay, lady, I got you. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Who knew it could be that simple? But yeah, that's amazing for trigeminal neuralgia because I know that that is debilitating for some
It's
people.
debilitating, and there's no. We sell the most products for things that are not well treated by conventional medicine,
Mm, sure.
right?
Hmm.
I'm not anti-medicine. If I'm hit by a car and there's a transmission in my ribs, yeah, take me to a hospital, right? But
Sure.
if you have systemic stuff, absolutely, absolutely do the weird stuff because
Yeah.
there's nothing but upside.
No, okay, great. So we have this 28 on board, right? This multi-blend combination really covers all of your bases. How long would you have someone give that a try to see if they notice a difference?
Okay, so one of the things that I appreciate you asking that question because I'll get we sell thousands of products, so I get thousands of emails and customer service.
Sure,
When it's hard, they'll send me like, okay, so if you've had a 30-year problem, it's not going to be fixed overnight,
sure.
right? Let's be realistic. And if it was, I'd be worried.
One of
What
the
happened?
things they're doing.
Hang on, we'll, um, Susan, can you make sure you're on mute there? I don't think I can, or Maura, maybe. I don't know if you're able to. I'm not, I just don't have control of the meeting to be able to mute there. Thanks, Susan. Okay, go ahead.
Cool. Okay, so usually I tell people, I say, look, what you're looking for is you're looking for a difference of at least 10% in the first 30 days,
Okay,
right? For any kind of product. That gives you enough time. You had a good week, you had a bad week. There's something called the MyMops form, and I used to use it in practice. Basically, you benchmark how you feel, right? What are your
yeah,
top three problems out of a 1 to a 7? Where is it? And you mark it off. And the form is very, very basic. And then you come back after a month and you look at it and say, oh, when I used to be in practice, people sit there and say, yeah, I still get headaches. And I pull out the form. Number one, debilitating back pain. Number two, couldn't poop for weeks. Number three, headaches. Right? I said number one and two are gone. They're like, oh,
yeah,
right.
yep,
So,
yep.
so
Objective data is important.
yeah. So the expectation is you should see a difference, an improvement of 10%. Now, I'm not going to lie. We have some people that are super sensitive homeopathics, and they'll be like it will be instantly life changing for them, right? And
Hmm.
sometimes it'll be scary for them because they'll have such a strong reaction. And those are the people that very often end up on my desk, right? Because they'll call me and say, look, I took this remedy and all hell broke loose, right? And once I calm down, I'm saying, look, here's what happened. You are a highly sensitive person to this modality, which is amazing. What it means is that no matter what happens in your health, you go to homeopathy and you'll be fixed up in a week. But it also means you have to be careful with your dosages, keep the dosages down, keep the frequency down, whatever else. Cell salts are easy to take. One thing that I tell people is homeopathics are the only thing they only build up tolerance to, right? If you take vitamins or minerals or other stuff, your body tends to enter homeostasis and adjust for it, right?
Sure.
With homeopathics, it doesn't really happen. But what I do tell people is with cell salts, I said mix it up. The dose is 3 to 5 pellets 3 times a day, right? Mix it up. Like I got them in my desk, and I'll sit there and I'll just like grab a handful on a random basis, right?
Yeah,
I don't have them at home on the weekends. I don't take them on the weekends. So I'm gonna give
sure.
myself a little bit of a break, and that way, always introducing a new level of energy into it.
I love it. So, okay, great. That's very much my vibe with supplements is I'll always take some time off of something, or if I forget to take it for a period of time, I'm assuming that's my body's innate intelligence not remembering it. Or if I remember to take something, my body's really asking for it. So it sounds like you really can't mess it up. And that and we're talking the cell salts because I understand the more of a like Herring's law of cure Herx type situation with homeopathy, where you have to be very careful with the dilution is would be one way to put it. But with these are not. I mean, they're diluted, but they're not that quote unquote potent in that way that it has an energetic component, it has the mineral component, and it also won't necessarily throw someone into a tailspin.
Okay, so I have these. We offer them in lactose base, right, which
Right,
taste like
right,
little rocks. We also have them in a vegan sugar base, and the
right,
vegan sugar base, they taste like little Halloween candies because they're sugar and they're delicious,
right.
right?
Great for
Uh,
kids.
no, you got to hide it from them, or they'll take the whole bottle.
It's true. It's true.
Cannot tell you how many times I've had kids. Someone call me, my kid ate the whole bottle. That's fine. You know what I mean? What's going to happen? Well, they might get the poops from having that much sugar at once, but they'll be fine. Because if
Perfect.
you got kids, they run wild.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I do. I do. Although I do know my kids also respond very quickly to your remedies. I mean, my son started to develop he's 14, started to develop some significant hormonal acne.
Right.
And within days, I'm like, what are you doing differently with your skin? Just those pellet things that you're giving me, Mom.
Oh, 100%. 100%. What happens is with kids, they have such a strong, like in homeopathy term is vital force, right?
Mhm.
In acupuncture, it's called chi. The chiropractors call it the innate life force. Everybody
Right,
has their own name for it, but it's all the same stuff, right?
right, right.
So kids have such a strong thing. You want to hear something crazy? We have a line for animals as well. I will dose a horse the same way I dose a human baby.
Oh wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool. Me, is that's wild. So, and then how does that compare to a human adult?
Oh, you have to be so much more gentle with horses than you have to do with adults.
That's so
You
interesting.
have to be so much more gentle.
It makes so, I mean, it
Also,
makes sense. They're so much more connected to nature and to, yeah, I mean, it makes so much,
they
it
are
makes a ton of sense.
they are so sensitive. I'm not a veterinarian. I have some veterinarians I know that are holistic, and they'll bring me in on consults, and they have to explain to me what's going on because I can't interview a horse. I don't know what the horse is saying. So, but I'll approach from a homeopathic standpoint. I'll give them some suggestions, but it's amazing. The number one thing I think to take away is the cell salts is experiment. You can't hurt yourself. You're not going to poison your kids. I mean, just have a good time with it. Like one of the things that'll come up is I'll get phone calls. Oh, what do I do with someone's like you have a new mother breastfeeding, biocombination 24. It's the five fosses. It, Give them five FOS, it'll bump up milk production. There
Ah,
is so much available out there. And this stuff is like I tell people this is like this jar, I think we sell for like $130. This is a pound of product. This is enough for a family of four for like half a year.
yeah.
Like this is the cheapest stuff. I order other supplement stuff all the time, just kind of see how their packaging and stuff goes. I bought some, I don't even know what it was, some kind of powder stuff. It was like $80 for like a little jar, and it was like enough for 2 weeks. So you guys are crazy. But this
Yeah.
stuff is super accessible, super low cost. Oh, nothing. Don't believe the hype. If you keep it in a cool and dry place, these products are good for like 100 years.
Cool. Yeah. That's good to
I,
know.
I mean, we have to put an expiration date on some of this stuff sometimes, but don't. I'm not going to try to sell you more. Oh, it's going to expire soon. No, no, that stuff's good for another 20 years.
Cool. No, that's super helpful. Um, okay. So what I want to highlight something too here is that you have a lot of combination remedies, right? I've alluded to
Yes.
one with my son in terms of for the skin health, if you will. But what are your and you talked about the trigeminal neuralgia. What are other ones that are really like that you get great feedback from that are like the combination? And I like how easy it is to pick your stuff because I literally just went to it and I was like, do they have one for skin? Oh, look, skin solutions. Let me see, voila. And there it is. And so it's pretty simple and direct. No weird names. It's like it's pretty easy to pick what I'm looking for.
All right. So we carry a whole line of homeopathics. We have single remedies, and we also have patent formulas of remedies. On the cell salts, we're not inventing this. This is the 28 combinations that Schlesser put together 200 years ago. This stuff's been proven over 200 years. So we're photocopying his formula and putting it on the market. That's what we're doing. One thing we did is we did a remedy called Tooth, and
Mhm.
that helps to remineralize teeth. Here it is, and that's a very simple thing. It has calc-phos, calc-fluor, silicia, and it's basically that's remedy for teeth.
That's
This thing
one,
is,
two, and I was gonna say 1, 2, and 12. I bet you, right? Yep,
yeah,
perfect.
and this is so cool because this thing is like it helps to rebuild that tooth. Some people do cell salts based on astrology.
Oh, I
right?
heard about that. My body actually, I'm a Leo, right? So I do take mine more frequently because I think my body needs it.
What you'll find, and people always say, well, how do you adjust the dosages? Once you start taking homeopathics and cell salts in general, you start to feel it. Like, how do I put this? I hope I'm not too lectury. Everybody has a weak spot, right? Like, everybody has a weakness, whether they get anxious. Like for me, my digestion gets upset. Like if I'm
Mm.
stressed or else. So what'll happen is you're at a state of homeostasis, and then you lose your job or you have a death in the family. Something big will happen, right? And that'll deplete you. And when you're going through these times, you have to increase the dosage of your supportive products, right? And then get back and you regroup and you can adjust it. So you adjust the dosages up and down as you go. Uh, I live in a hot climate. I live in Florida. And in the summer, I tell everybody, so you know what? You got water bottles carrying out in the water everywhere. It's 10,000 out. Throw a spoon of bio combination 28 in that water.
Okay, perfect. That brings me to this, right? Because I have both the the pills, the little pill, the tablet pills, and I also have the liquid. So what would it be if I'm dosing? So you said just basically a liter bottle like this, just a teaspoon, just boop, blup, throw it in there.
Right now, so I'm gonna do this. We offer the cell salts in three ways.
Right.
We offer them in regular lactose base, which is basically milk sugar, a little bit of magnesium stearate, which glues it together,
Mm-hmm.
and the minerals. That's all there is in it, right? The other
Mm-hmm.
brands like Highlands and the other companies, they use more magnesium stearate to make them dissolve faster.
Oh. Oh,
Mine
okay.
are like, mine are like really super hard pellets, like you can
They
use an
are.
ice and shoots one at you, right?
Yep.
We make them in sugar. The sugar is for the vegan crowd. And the liquid ones, we made the liquids for very specialized applications for people that can't tolerate anything else.
Mm.
Okay. Now, most homeopathy is a water based modality, right? What you're doing is you're transferring the energy of the substance to the water. Cell salts are not that. Cell salts are made through physical trituration. So if I would say between taking the pellets to the liquids, pellets probably 3 or 4 times more effective. The
Mm.
liquids are there if you can tolerate the pellets.
Okay, interesting. That's really great to know. So in a water bottle like this, but you would still say like a teaspoon, half teaspoon of those pellets, just throw them right in here.
Absolutely. Like even just a pinch, and you don't need
Yeah,
the same one every day. Like I'd mix it up.
yeah,
If you got a
yeah.
water bottle, just throw a couple in there.
That's what
Um,
I've just naturally been doing in my kids' water bottles. It's for school too. Basically, just take that
100%.
combination. Yeah, just throw it
And
in there.
everything, oh, the sugar-based ones. The sugar-based ones dissolve better, right?
Yeah.
And again, you're not putting in 5 teaspoons of sugar, you're putting in 1 or 2 small pellets. The best part with cell salts is you don't need a lot. Okay, so let me throw this at you. This is so interesting. Um, Homeopathy is dosed by frequency, not by volume. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so people have a hard time with that. Like, well, if I have a whole cup of this, no, you're getting more of a dose if you take sips at it over a period of time.
Right.
So if I'm taking a third of the cup in sips, that's a lot more dosing than the cup at once.
Right. That makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
Because what happens is homeopathics are a signal to the body, right? I
Hmm.
got into a great argument with a friend of mine. He's a medical doctor and he's a surgeon. He's very anti-homeopathy, right? And we're having this argument. Like, okay, so you're telling me that a small amount of something cannot have an effect on the body? He goes, yes. I said, how about a peanut allergy? And he stops himself. I said, that is like an immeasurable, small amount of something that's having a cascading effect on a person well beyond what an actual poison would cause. And he looks at you, he goes, I hate it when you're right. I'm like, I'm always
Yeah.
right.
You have you shown him the Luc Montagnier research? Do you know Luc Montagnier's research?
You can't. I've heard of his stuff.
Yeah.
You can't. Like I said, you can't convince people.
No,
You can't.
I've stopped trying to convince people too. It's like, okay,
Okay,
not your thing.
the best part of this is I have so much fun with this. Every single aesthetics thing, where they go get plastic surgery and stuff, everybody gives their patients arnica. Everybody
Mm.
does because arnica is so good on bruising, right? But they don't believe in homeopathy, but they get buy cases of it because I sell them cases of it.
Awesome. Hey, anything else, Miro, that you want to like touch base on before we maybe open it up to some questions?
Let me see. I have a whole presentation here that I'm not following because those are so boring. I should see if I missed anything in my notes. This has been so great, Carrie. Thank you for so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And thanks everyone for being here. Feel free to start throwing questions into the chat or raising your hand. We'll eventually be able to
Do
get to
you
all
want to hear
this.
a slightly inappropriate but hilarious story?
Sure.
Okay, so there's a lady homeopath that I've known very well. Lady's well into her 80s and very uptight, very proper lady, right? And we're talking about different cell salts. And what happens is Cilicia as a cell salt will push stuff out of the body. It will expel stuff. So if
Yes.
you have like if you have a splinter or something that you can't get out, you take cell salts, it'll eventually push it out. So I'm talking to this lady, and I said, what's been the biggest challenge in your practice? We're having a very, very serious conversation. She goes, clit rings. I go, beg your pardon?
Oh.
Right? What happens is people that have piercings, the silicia will actually force the piercing out.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It's fascinating. And for me, the funny part for me is I'm talking to this lady who's almost 80 and we're having this, and then she spits out this, private part rings. And I'm just like,
Was
what?
not ex I was not prepared for that.
I was not, I was not ready for that conversation, right?
So, I mean, that just proves if you can expel something like that against people's desire because they're taking an effective cell salt, holy cow.
Well, it's such an important thing because you need to be able to take stuff out of the system.
You
Uh,
do. Is that
so I
true? So, I mean, obviously that story's about a clit ring, but what about, I mean, basically the innate intelligence of the body is something that's potentially not serving me. I'm going to expel it.
Yes, it's an interesting thing because some people will have certain skin issues, and the silicia for a long period of time. Well, now, okay, so let me dial this back. When I talk about dealing with a problem you've had for decades, it's not going to resolve in a week,
Right.
right? Like, um, I had a friend of mine whose child had a bad concussion about 6 months ago, right? And I sent a bunch of arnica, and I sent a bunch of Nat Solve, and I didn't send a bottle, right? I sent
Yeah.
jugs.
Right.
And they go, how long do you take this? I said, keep taking it until the symptoms completely disappear, right? So first of all, it's a kid, so they're able to bounce back more, right? But when somebody's has a brain injury, the brain is bruised, and all the individual cells, the structure is weakened on it, right?
Hmm.
So having the cell salt kind of rebuild the membrane helps it all heal up. So
Mm.
it's always like one of the questions I have in practice was, how long have you had the problem? If you're someone that's prone to stomach acid, you're gonna take Nat Phos, you're gonna have it in your pocket or in your purse, probably the rest of your life. As
Sure.
it comes up, you deal with it. But it's a non-toxic tool you can use that has no side effects.
Non-suppressive. It's not like popping a Rolaids or something like that, right? It's working at a
Exactly.
different level. Yeah.
Well, which you're resetting. Like one thing that's so frustrating to people is they're saying, "Okay, look, I'm gonna have a steroid cream." In homeopathy, if you have eczema and you give it a steroid cream, it's going to push you back in your body, cause liver problems
Mm.
because your body's trying
Hmm.
to get this stuff out for some reason.
Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
here's an interesting one. Any kind of skin stuff, I always tell people, I say your skin has 7 layers. So when you start healing the bottom layers, it's going to push the bad layers up. So it will get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I've actually seen that. It makes perfect sense to me. It makes perfect sense to me.